Today we're going to be looking at the yield in Ruby, where you've got a method and you put the keyword yield in that method, and the yield will execute a block of code attached to that method, and I'll show you. So that there is a block of code. So what I'll do is I'll create a method, test, and if I just put the keyword yield, and that's the I is before the E, yield, end. Now if this method's not doing anything at the moment, but because it's got the yield in it, Ruby's expecting a block of code to be attached to the method. So if I type test, it will throw an error. I'll show you, and it's telling you that no block given yield, and basically that's what it's telling you, is that there was supposed to be a block of code attached to it. And so what we're going to do here is test, and we're going to put a block of code with nothing in it, but Ruby will be happy because it's received its block of code. Enter. Yeah, nil, because nothing happened. So what we can do to show you, we make a block of code, and what we can do is we can just see what happens, and it's executed that block of code. And the key to this yield is that you can attach blocks of code to a method. So you've got a method that does something, and when you call that method, you can attach any code in that block you want to that method to do something. And you can also, and I'll give you one that works. Let's see. Dev test and equals yield, store equals yield, enter. And so this variable store is going to hold whatever the block of code is going to pass to it, and then we can do store, and so we're printing out store, the variable store, but it's going to come from the block of code. So if we do end, and now if we go test the block of code, and if we just put a number 6 in the code, that number 6 is going to be returned from that block of code into the yield in this method, and then it's going to be stored in the store, and then the putS is going to put it out to the screen, the string to screen, and so if I hit enter, 6, and so, and if I do test, six minus 4, enter, 2. So in that code block, it done a calculation and returned the answer to yield. Then yield was stored, and so it's not just one line of code you can have in this block. You can have many lines of code. You can have complicated code to do something, and so it's a very useful tool and I'll show you, but you can have more than one yield. And so if I do test yield, enter, yield, end. So what if a block, what's going to be inside this block of code is going to be it's going to be done, the block of code is going to be done 3 times. And so if we go test, give it a block of code, and we're going to have a variable inside. We can call that anything. Put s, and just anything, and close the block of code, and it's executed this block of code 3 times. It's went to x, and x equaled passing to screen, passing, so it done that, and then it went again and done the same thing again, and went again and done the same thing again. So you can put any code there at all. You can even put an array. Test, enter, yield, one, 2. So yield is got 1, 2 there. I just hope it's going to work with this. Yeah, end, test. I hope this is not going to fail. Okay, it's a block of code, and if I do asterisk for it's like passing an array, and it doesn't know how many values is going to come to it. We've already done yield as 1 and 2, and if we just give it any name, type again, and do put s x and hit enter. Yep, it's worked. Yeah, I wasn't too sure if that was going to work. So what we've done there is we've done a method called test yield, and we've passed it quite a few, an array of integers, strings or integers, whatever you want. Hit enter, end, and then we call the method. We give it a block of code, a variable with an asterisk, so it's an array, and we call it set this time, and put s, set, end the block of code, hit enter, and it's printed every single one of them. So another thing you can do with this method, with the yield 1, 2, 3, 4, is we're going to reuse this. So we're going to go test, and we're going to give it a block of code, and within the pipes we're going to have like variable, and we'll call it a, then a comma, and we could have 4 different variables, but the middle one we're going to have an asterisk, so it's an array. Again, it doesn't know how many it's going to receive, and we'll call that b, and then another comma, and we're going to have the end one for this one, so that would be number 4, and I hope this works as well. call this one A, end the pipe, and put S. Let's see how to do this. Put S A. We're going to end that command, we're going to put another command, put S. I've done a semicolon because that's one command stopped, and in the straight line, in the same line we're going to put another command, and so when you're doing that you do need to use the semicolon to separate the commands. And so then we're going to do asterisk B. I'm not too sure if you do the asterisk, and then we're going to put S E and hit enter. Yep, it's worked, but not the way I thought it would work. Yeah, it's done it all in a straight line again. So if I do the same thing again, and if I take out A and take out A, hit enter. Yeah, and as you can see that B holds 2 and 3. So B is the array, and the A and the E, the A is just the beginning, the first character, the first number, and the E is the last number. And so if we had a whole range of numbers, and B was the array, A would still be the first number and E would still be the last number. So I hope that explains yield a little bit. There's a lot more to it. It's very useful. So thank you for your time again.